Welcome back to Missouri River Bottom for episode 17. I'm BP and we're in June. Last episode we cut the grass and planted corn in the mega field. This episode we complete 3 contracts and harvest the canola. So let's start with a quick update of what happened between April and now where we are in June. After we wrapped up in April, I did grab a weeding contract that paid about $210,000. Fast forwarded on to May. There wasn't much to do in the May. Collected the wool, took care of the animals. But really not much to do. Did pick up a fertilizing contract that we completed for about $173,000, and now we're in June, and we are in the process of completing the harvesting contract on field 25. So field 25 right over here next to our farm. It was barley. We grabbed it all, and we have at least 1 million liters in the TLX down here at the Viterra sell point where we're supposed to drop it off. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. We still have some left in the grain cart back at the farm, but I thought we'd start today by dropping off our harvested barley at the Viterra sell point. So if I can get that kicked over. We're dumping out the back. This should be the first 500,000 liters in the back hopper. And then we'll swing through and see about getting that front hopper emptied as well. And see if that is enough barley to complete the contract. If not, we'll be running back to the farm to pick some more up. There we are. Got that front hopper emptied. I'm thinking it's not quite going to be enough. We only got 88% of the contract finished with the first 500,000. It's only 8% above the harvest level, so we probably need to bring a little bit more down here before it'll complete, but we'll see. Should be close, probably 98 or 99 when it's all said and done. We're 97%, so let's send this guy back to the farm to get the rest of that barley, and while he's doing that, we'll go through and look at those other contracts we did. So we have the weeding contract we did back in April on field 28. There's the 210,000. We will collect that. Then in May, we did that fertilizing contract. There's 173 on field 29. That one, we used manure from our cows to complete that contract. And it took almost the entire 500,000 liter capacity of our manure spreader to complete field 29. That field is just absolutely enormous. So we got that one done as well. While the truck is heading back, we're actually going to jump out here at the shop and head over. The Fent is over at Bale Sales with the straw from field 25. Got all that picked up before heading out to see you guys. So we have 3.5, almost 3.6 million liters of straw. We're going to sell that now as well. That's from the barley harvest on field 25. So making a little bit of money here. We are going to be over $1.5 million when this is all said and done, which is good news because some of the fields we're looking at are well into the $2 million range. So we got to get them off and going. We're actually going to send this guy. While the barley was being harvested, I did harvest. We'll just drive it up there. I did harvest our grass field. So that is, the grass is down but not picked up. So we'll drive the Fent up to our grass field and get him set to collect that grass. We are, if you guys remember, just trying to stay on top of that grass field and get it harvested. The cows are eating through the meadow grass over winter and running out of food. We are in the stage of reproduction for our first batch of cows and maybe even our second batch, so we will have more cows in the next 8 to 10 months. So we expect to have even more grass. So we're just trying to build up our reserves in our fermenting silo as much as possible so that we have grass over the winter and we don't end up having to buy any bales. So the rest of this episode, we'll get the contracts wrapped up. We'll check in on everything here in June, but we'll pretty quickly progress into July so we can get that canola field harvested. That's field 22, the one we bought a couple episodes ago. Once we harvest that in July, we're going to have to get right back in that field, plow it up, and get it connected to field 20, would it be 23? 24? I think it's field 24. Because the soybeans have to go in July as well. That is their last month to be planted. So June will be a pretty quick month here for us. But then we will be into July, and there is a lot of work to do there to get our cash crop of soybeans in and ready to go. So we'll get this stuff wrapped up, and we'll head into July as soon as we're done. So let's get unfolded here as we approach the field. Go ahead and get activated. I don't know if we have a course for this or not. We have it saved. I feel like we do. I feel like it's one that has rounded corners and we have to go through afterwards and pick it up. So let's jump into the auto drive menu. Planting, stone picking, cultivating, harvesting, lime for manure mowing. We do not. So let's go ahead and generate that course. We'll look at probably just one headland. We can do rounded corners. Let's see what happens if we don't do rounded corners. See if that is able to get it all. Go ahead and generate that course. Nice and easy. Set the worker off. Make sure it gets up to speed. That poor stop sign down here at the corner, it's just, it doesn't survive any of this stuff, but it does. Someone comes by from the county, must put it back up between all the episodes. So we're going to jump out here. We're going to run down and grab the TLX and fill it up with the rest of that barley so we can take that down to the Viterra sell point and complete that last contract. While we're doing that, here we are. We're in growth stage 8 of 9 on the canola. It's looking good. The whole field looks nice. No weeds. So we should be in decent shape. Let's get the grain cart turned on. Let's go ahead and flip the TLX on and get cover pulled back. We're just going to slide in over here. I think we have about 200,000 liters, maybe 250,000 liters in the grain cart still. So it was left over after we pulled everything else out. So we'll see how much we get. And whatever we don't get, however, we don't have to turn in at for the contract, we'll keep. And barley is best. Let's see. Barley is best in December. So, and the price is not very good right now. So yeah, we'll definitely be putting that barley into our silo and storing it for a later date. Wow, 288,000. That's actually quite good. So let's cover that up. Jump inside. Want to send this guy back to the Viterra sell point. I think we're clipping the edge there. See if we can't drag it over just a little bit. There we go. Buy, sell, Viterra. Excellent. We'll send the TLX back down there. While he's doing that, I'm going to take the quad track and get it parked. You know what, actually, if we're doing the canola tomorrow, maybe we just... What do we think? How much yield are we going to get? Are we going to need it? Oh, it doesn't tell us how much we're going to get off this field yet because it isn't fully grown. We'll leave it right here for now. Turn it off. Can always just dump into there. You probably only use one harvester on that field. It's not going to be very big. So, a couple of quick changes on the farm I want to share with you guys. I did put a decorative grate down behind our fermenting silo to mark the tip point. It's one of the mods on the mod hub, so nice to be able to actually see that. I did come down here, and I'm still having problems with some of the trigger points on this side of the farm. So I removed the lime silo. We got plenty of lime, and we have plenty in storage. So we can always put it back in if we need to. But as you can see, this guy's supposed to be dropping off slurry, and the trigger points just don't seem to cooperate. So we'll give it one more try here. Flip it around. And what I've been finding is that the trigger points are not even hitting in the same spot every time. It's like they're having a hard time figuring out where they are. Sometimes it's on the right side of the production, sometimes on the left, sometimes they gotta be further out, sometimes they gotta be closer in. There's no rhyme or reason. It's not like there's one point that is catching it every single time. So yeah, there we go. We didn't get anything that time, so maybe this time we'll swing a little closer. We go nice and slow, because when we do get it, it tends to be just for a brief second. Yeah, see, we're not even getting the trigger point anymore. So I'm not sure what that's about. May have to do a little bit of exploring and some research after the episode. There, oh, there it is right there. You guys saw it for just a second, and then... like it just... there we go. Catch it again. Alright, so... I mean, found that one. Not a big deal, but... the lime silo is gone. So when we need more lime, we'll put another one in. But for right now, I think that's going to be good. We'll leave it out. And if we do lime, we might move it somewhere. Maybe put it over here on the side of the barn. Get it out of that back alley. I'm not sure if the trigger's back there because there's so many of them in such a small area, if that's causing them to... the overlap is causing a problem, or if they're too close to the building or what. So come down here, check on our sheep. We don't even have a full pallet. As you can see, what were lambs are now full-grown sheep. We do have our first batch of Black Welsh Mountains are 17-month-olds, and they're 17 months old, and they are at 80% reproduction. So we're going to have another 100 lambs tomorrow in July. When we get to July, those should be born. And the ones we have here are 50% of the way through their puberty. And the Steinschaft we picked up earlier are full grown and are 40% into their reproductive cycles. So we are going to have lambs from them in, what would be July, August, September. So we're going to have a lot more sheep. This pen, I believe this pen will hold, is it 1,000? Is it 500? Yeah, 1,088 animals, and we're at 450. So we're going to more than double the number of sheep we have long term. So we're going to have to keep up on that grass too, because they're going to be eating a lot as well. That actually brings us to a really interesting point. The new realistic animal mod came out today. Looks like it was officially released out of beta. So I'm excited to try that. There's lots and lots of new features. Each animal is unique and has sort of a genetic code that makes it more or less valuable, more or less successful in its reproduction. You have to have male animals and female animals, all kinds of great in-depth stuff. I do want to bring that into this gameplay, but I'm going to do it off camera in a trial run first, just to make sure that it works the way we want it to. I did try the realistic weather mod from Arrow, the same modder that did it, and it's a great mod. But on some maps, there were some challenges. I was playing on a map, and I brought in the realistic weather mod, and I think I got snowed in for 4 months. Couldn't move the equipment, couldn't plow it fast enough to get rid of it, I was harvesting in the snow in May and June. You know, some things that just, I don't think it was the mod, I think it was just the way the mod interacted with the map and didn't work out quite well. So I am going to work on bringing the realistic animal mod into the gameplay. I think that would be really exciting. Especially as we're heading into a season where we're going to have lots of lambs and we're going to start having some calves from our cattle as well. I think that would make it very, very interesting. But I'm going to work through those, you know, potential pain points or the learning process and bring it in off camera and then integrate it into the gameplay if it works. So look for that in the future, but that is exciting news. We do have 20 pallets of wool, so we've got tons and tons of wool. The corn is growing, you know, we're at the waist-high level, and I think either in July or August is going to pop up again. So we have lots of exciting things going on the farm. Jump into the TLX, and let's see. We want to deliver as little as possible, so we can keep as much as possible. So we're 97%, 98, 99, and done. So only sold $1,489 worth of it before we got stopped. Left us with 177,000 liters of barley, which is going to be a great addition to our silo when it comes to sell time. So we're going to set him up to unload. We want him to unload at the farm silo, send him on his way, and I think that's going to be pretty much it for the month of June. Let's check in on the Fent, picking up the grass. Oh, it looks like it did a good job. This corner, oh, there's a little bit there I'll go grab. But the Fent looks like it did a great job overall, got all the grass up. Now, what's so interesting is we harvested the grass or cut the grass earlier in the year, and I thought we were at the bonus growth stage, but we were not, and we got under 500,000 liters of grass, which surprised me. I remember making a comment on it in the previous video, and now with waiting for it to be fully grown, we are at almost 975,000 liters of grass. So definitely worth waiting. I know it was a feature that didn't work initially when Farm Sim 25 first came out. That extra bonus stage just wasn't working. It is clearly working now, and definitely worth waiting for. So for one extra day waiting on the harvest, we're getting an extra, we're almost doubling or basically doubling our grass harvest, which is, or grass cutting, which is great. So yeah, 975. I bet there's some in this corner. We know there's a little bit left over there. May even get up to 980,000 liters of grass. And that's definitely the level of grass we need to be getting off of each cut to make sure our animals are fed, because between all those sheep we're going to have and the cows, we are going to need a lot of grass to keep everybody fed and happy. So let's grab this little bit here. And we'll cut in before the TLX gets back so we can get the grass dumped in, because it'll be parked in the silo when they're all done. Slide in here. Have not used the fermenting silo tip point since putting in the grate, so hoping that doesn't. Oh, we can dump grass. That one picked up right away. Let's see. Oh, are we full on grass? Is that all we can hold? Let's take a look and see. Grass, we are full. So the question is, what do we do now that we have 1,000,000 liters of grass? Well, I think it means we're going to have to grab the JCB and go drop some off with the animals. So let's get this next batch of slurry dumped in, assuming that he's sitting here waiting again. Nope, he's empty, so let's send him to park. And we'll have him connect up to the tipper after that, go grab some grass and put it into the sheep pen. The sheep could take, they have about a 500, I think it's 500,000 liter capacity, so they can take 140,000 liters, ballpark 138,000 liters of grass. All right, disconnect that one. And, oh, the Deutz is in the way. Got a little tractor shuffle going on today. The Deutz is not connected to that, so must have just gotten parked here. Put the Deutz over here on the end with the lime spreader. Don't think we'll need it right away, but we will need it when we do the field combination tomorrow, so it'll be staged and ready for that when the time comes. Okay, so the tipper. Let's grab that. And I would add some grass to the cow pen, but if you add the grass or any feed, whether it's grass, silage, hay, TMR, whatever you add, it does, that they eat that, they take that as a priority over the meadow grass, and we want them eating as much meadow grass as possible. So I'd love to be able to store it in there. I just don't think it's a worthwhile endeavor, because we don't want them to be skipping the meadow grass and eating this grass that we're harvesting for them, that we want them to eat over the winter when they are running low. So we will hold off on putting any more in there. I think we'll put 135 liters, 135,000 liters in here. Go give that to the sheep and see how much more of that grass we can get into the fermenting silo. So jump back in cab. I'm not sure what tip side we're on. Let's take a look. We want it to be on the right side. There we go. So we can pull up here. Grab that trigger. Yeah, see, the triggers on the rest of the farm seem to work really well. It's just that one area back behind the shed where we had all those productions that proved to be... The triggers are just not working as well, so not sure why that is. We'll have to look into that again. Alright, so he's going to go back and park. While he does that, I'm going to get into the Fent. We'll get that pulled up out of the way. We do have 460,000 liters left in here, so we're going to have to find another way to get, or somewhere else to store the grass, because we just don't have the space in the fermenting silo. Yeah, that's all she wrote on that. So let's take a quick look. I'm wondering why the TLX is still running if it made it back. I bet it pulled up too far. Let's see. Backing it up and getting the front hopper over the tray, over the tipper. Yep, put the barley in. Get that barley dumped in. You can just see it going in the grate there. Excellent. TLX can be parked. The Fent is parked. I'm wondering if we have a mod that might allow us to store more grass. So it'd either have to be a multi-fruit silo, or as Hayloft only holds 250,000, that's not even going to be close. That's more than we'd fill that in less than one harvest. This is the production silo we had in here previously. And maybe it was that location that the trigger was proving to be such a problem, but that one just really, it gave me a hard time. Now, addable Hayloft, or addable triggers, the Hayloft from the addable triggers mod, this one holds, that's 1.6 million. This one holds 10 million liters. So maybe for $5,000, what we do is we add, let's see if we can get this position where we see what we like. Maybe we just put this right on here. That looks squared up. Wonder what that would look like right there. Let's just see the pipe. So the metal pipe is supposed to go into the silo. And then the red bars look like they attach. So right there. Let's jump out and just, let me give it a quick once over with the gravel. Sort of smooth out this corner. You guys ever notice how some of the paint textures you can get to the round brush using the menu or the keyboard, and some of them you have to use the mouse button? I don't understand. I don't know if that's a control keybind that I have. Oh, that worked out well. No, they aren't quite touching, but I suspect when we drive by we won't be able to tell. So I think that looks pretty good. So we can store our hay or our straw and grass in here now. I'm wondering if this is a multi-fruit or if it will. And you know what? Let's... No, we don't need a grate because it's got a blower there to blow it into the bin. It says we'll put a grate down, but I don't think we need to. Alright, so that actually worked out well. I was not planning on doing that today. And in actuality, I think what we might do is maybe we just put all of the grass into that new addable trigger silo. And then we have all of our grass in one spot. We don't have to drive through the front of the yard to get to it. And that'll be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get that moved over. That was an unplanned addition, but I think it'll work out really, really nicely. Let's just check and see. Yeah, so it's got 329,000 in there. It's got a 10,000 liter or 10 million liter capacity. That looks really good. I think that's exactly what we needed. Looks pretty good with the blowers that are on the outside for the bins anyways. So it sort of blends into the farm. Not bad at all, guys. All right, so I'm going to let that continue to fill up, and I will see you guys in July. All right, guys, we are in July, and it is time to harvest. So going to knock out this canola field real quick. I realize we haven't done any actual live harvesting. It's all been on contracts. So I'm going to go ahead and just knock this one out manually while we talk about the plan for the rest of July. We are going to harvest this field, get the straw up, and then we're going to plow this field and the one over to the left field 24 together. We then have to turn around in July and come back and get the soybeans planted before the end of the day. So it's going to be a busy day getting stuff done. If you remember a couple episodes ago, we did put this road in up here. And we sort of changed the way the road worked. It used to run all the way down there along the tree line, but when we expanded field 24, we got rid of it. I don't know if I want to keep it or not. We could take the field all the way up to the edge of the tree line. I'm not sure there's any need to get back there anymore now that we own both fields. So we'll have to see how that goes. We would have this sort of silly stop sign sitting there right by the road, or right by the intersection there, that wouldn't go anywhere anymore. We could use it as a pull-off and just sort of let it exist, but I think we may want to extend it all the way up the field, all the way up to the trees, and just get that maximized. It's going to be a cash crop field. We're going to be turning soybeans in it for now. It may eventually go to a cereal crop if we get into productions in year 3. But either way, maximizing the harvest is going to be a critical part of, or maximizing the yield of the harvest is going to be a critical part of, you know, making the most money we can on this field. And since our next field endeavor is likely going to be in a, you know, $2 million or more, you know, tier of investment, we need to get as much money out of these fields as we can. The contract money's been good. I did collect the barley harvest money overnight when I was getting some other things done, but that is all set and ready to go. We also need to get the manure spreader over to the grass field and get that fertilized as well. So in the realm of getting things done, we'll go knock that stuff out here pretty quickly too. We'll probably just put the manure spreader on a worker over there while we're doing the plowing after all of this. So besides that, we should have some lambs, our second round of lambs from our Black Welsh Mountain sheep. I didn't even bother looking at that this morning. Let's pause here real quick and take a look. We do. 0 month old. We have another 100 sheep. So that's 300 and 250. We're 550 sheep. We're just over halfway full on that pen. We put in grass yesterday, topped it off to 500,000. They're already down to 475. So we are starting to consume a lot of grass. Not that that's a surprise, but you know, keeping that grass field producing, you know, what was it, 975,000 liters of grass per cut is going to be critical long term to keeping our cows fed in the winter and our sheep fed year round. We're still dealing with the fact that meadow grass is not growing normally or as intended on this map. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but the sheep pen has no meadow grass, so we are 100% responsible for feeding them and making sure they have all the food they need and everything else. So we will have to be on the grass the whole time. There was a forage harvester that came up in the sale a couple days ago. I looked at it and considered getting that with a grass head for it, so we could just throw it right into a trailer, do it, sort of cut the grass and collect it all in one stage, because we're not turning it into hay, we're not baling it. So if we could just collect it, it would make life, you know, that much easier. But it just felt like a lot of money and a big piece of equipment to maintain on the farm. And the mowers we have now seem to do just fine with that. Doesn't seem to be a problem. So I'm not sure it was worth investing that much money into a new piece of machinery to fix a problem that we'd already solved in a different way. So we'll keep an eye out. You know, maybe a Krone Big M 500 or Big X comes out, and maybe that'll be a different option for us. I have considered replacing our forage wagon. It's nice, it works well. There are some ones that have a slightly wider pickup that could be beneficial as well, but I'm wondering if we want to save those for another playthrough and just sort of keep the equipment we have on this one. So just my thoughts just on where we're headed with this kind of stuff. We'll get the rest of this field knocked out here in just a minute. After that, I will probably throw the manure fertilizer on a worker. I'll throw the forage wagon on a worker in this field to get the grass, or I'm sorry, the straw. Get the grass and the straw confused here, talking too much. And get all of that picked up, and then we'll come back and we'll start the plowing process. We have to plow this field. We have to plow the two fields together. We're going to have to stone pick. We need to lime and pre-fertilize. So we have a lot of work to do. I probably won't have you here for all of it. We'll probably just check in from time to time as we make progress towards the end goal. And then maybe we'll throw, you know, the seeding on a time lapse or the liming or something like that, just so you guys can see some of it. But overall, just going to be over here getting the work knocked out and ready to go. We knew this was going to be a really tight month with the canola harvest coming in the same day that we needed to get the soybeans in the field. But like I said, this is just a commitment to growing our farm, and some days are long and you just got to get the work done so that you can reap the rewards on the back end, and today's going to be one of those days. So I was thinking more about, you know, as we head into, we're at the end of year 2 now here in July. It was a bit of a shorter year. We didn't have as many contracts. We didn't have quite as much growth as we did in year 1. With a little less money coming in. Also just had a lot of work to do. But, you know, what do you guys want to see in year 3? Should we just keep growing our fields and stick with some more traditional farming? Should we, you know, get some different animals? Should we go to dairy cattle? Should we look at, you know, there's chickens and there's goats. I'm not really one for horses, though we do have the horse trainer mod, so we could look at something like that. Do we want to get into productions? You know, what are things that we want to do in year 3 to mix it up a little bit? Or we just want to keep growing the farm and stick with a very traditional crop-based farm? You know, continue building out our equipment and our processes and just getting everything done. You know, what are you guys' thoughts? Give me some feedback in the comments down below. Love to hear from you guys. Just tell me what you're thinking, what you're looking at, you know, how you like to play the game, what gameplay styles we could bring in here, you know, just all that kind of stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are on that down below. I was going to put this into the field bin over there attached to the case, but I think we'd just be putting it in there to then go back and put it in the semi-truck to put it in the silo, because we're not going to be selling canola today. So rather than touching it twice, maybe we just grab it here and we'll just put it right into the TLX right off the bat. So let's grab the TLX. I'm excited about that new silo we added over there for the straw and the grass. I was thinking overnight, you know, maybe we actually just get rid of that fermenting silo for now if we're not going to have dairy cows on the farm. You know, maybe we get rid of it and then we can use that spot for the lime. Get all topped off, see how much we got. Not a bad harvest, 189,000 liters. Jump back in here. I think for now we'll probably just pull this guy out of the way. I'll deal with putting him away when we're all done and wrapping everything up. Might have just a bit too much going on to get him put away now. Just try to keep things moving for the day. All folded up. Great. Let's go put the canola into the silo. And then we got 2 workers to hire up. And get the straw out of field 22. And get the fertilizer put into our grass field. Should take a look and see both the barley and the canola when we're gonna sell those. Let's see, the barley from yesterday, 177,000 liters, best in January, and that'll be worth about $67,000 it looks like. The canola is best in December and should be worth about 138, so that's a nice pickup. We do have our we may have missed the soybeans. Look at that. Maybe we'll have to sell those next time. Let's see. Yeah, we lost almost $50,000 on that because the sale price has come down. We know the Omaha train station doesn't work. So the next is the Phelps elevator. That's $455. Yeah, we missed the soybeans last night, so we'll have to hold on to those for next month, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Let's run back and grab the Deutz and the Fendt and get those connected up to their implements and running in the field. I think we'll put the Deutz on the manure spreader. Which is going to need to be topped off. Yeah, 14,000 liters left. That's left over from when we dropped manure in the mega field, or not the mega field, field 29, the huge field we don't own. We did that fertilizing contract off camera, and that was the one that almost ate all of our manure up from in one field. That was crazy. It's went through a lot of manure to get that field done. I thought I was gonna have to top it off, but luckily it just barely made it. So we'll get this one filled up. And all said and done. Let's get flipped around here. Yeah, the slurry tanker's still struggling with that trigger. So there's something about the area back here that's making those triggers a challenge. We'll look at that between episodes, but for now, let's go up and get the manure set up on a worker. I think we checked yesterday for the windrow course, or for the, for the forage pickup course, and we didn't have one, but I do think we have a manure course. So let's get that activated, opened up. This manure spreader needs to be cleaned. Alright, manure spreading. Cultivating, line first, manure, field 23, that should be the one. Load course. Alright, escape, let's see what popped up. Field 23, first waypoint. That's just up here, not a big deal. Alright, excellent. One guy down. We'll head back to the farm, grab the Fent, and hook it up to the forage wagon. Go get all that straw picked up. And that field will be prepped. He may still be hooked up. There may still be grass in it. Oh no, we got the grass out in the new silo. I have been looking at a couple of mods that are for header racks to get our headers stored, since we have 4 of them. I'm not sure if the big Macdon ones will, if they'll take, meaning if they're too big for the mods, but I was looking at a couple of those where they have sort of the parts that flip down, and you put the headers on them and they sort them up and out of the way and everything else. Might be nice to clear up a little bit of ground space on the farm. Let me know if you guys have used those, if you like them, if there's one you like. I tried a couple in Farm Sim 22 and just never felt like they, you know, did what they were supposed to do. So, you guys let me know. We're going to do it diagonal, then I think we probably need to do 2 headlands. Yeah, that'll give us room to turn around. Alright. Okay, once again, grab the tractor. Not sure why that's happening with you out, but still is. We didn't end up using the case, so let's get that parked and out of the way. And I will see you guys when we are on the plowing portion of joining the fields together. And check back in. See you guys soon. Just finished up plowing, mulching, and cultivating this last field. Been thinking a lot about how to get this done effectively, so we can run equipment for the last little part to keep this part moving, so we're not stuck doing it all manually. Because if we combine the 2 fields immediately, we will end up with having to either do all of this work manually when we're done, or we'll have to do the big portion of field 24 as well. So I think what we're going to do is turn on create fields. We're going to lower. Yep, we're starting to get going there. And I think we're going to go all the way up to, you know what we should have done? Let's paint this strip. Because we're going to need to. Actually, why not? Maybe we don't. Just drop it down. We'll just leave it as is. But we're going to go all the way up to the edge of the other field and not connect them. And then right at the very end, we'll run a real quick pass down the middle and get these two fields connected. And then we'll be able to work on them without having them be combined. So that will be good there. We'll run here. Don't want to let those overlap at all. Get that pulled in a little bit. And we just want to get as close as we can without overlapping so we get the maximum field width. And I do think we're going to have to come in here and paint real quick just so we can see what we're doing here, because the grass is just not going away. So let's zoom way out. We're going to leave the grass on the edge of the field so we don't have to do any field work to field 24. Let's just slide right down through here. All right, and then we get lined up with that edge. And at this point, we want to come over. And let's see if we can't get that to just make a nice square edge for us. Right about there. All right. Gonna have to pick this up and loop back because we painted over it. And I guess we have to paint down the other strip too. So we may as well just come back here. And let's just get it all done all at once. This is the joy of putting fields together. Sometimes it goes really easily and you got lots of time, and sometimes it's just a bunch of work to get it done. So we are right here. We'll jump in. Need that grass texture. We're going to zoom in. Like it to be on the smaller size so we can get it all on one pass. Since we already got the upper edge. There's something about the field grass on this map just does not want to cooperate with the plowing. It was a problem when we did the mega field. Trying not to go too far into the field just because we'll have to plow it up all again, but to some extent that's just the way it's going to be. Want that grass mostly gone so we can see where we plowed. Make sure we know the area we're working in. So a little bit there. And I think we're pretty good here. Maybe we'll just zap that little bit. So, drop this down. Got that part done. We should be in better shape now. You'll actually have a result we can see instead of having all that grass that's just a pain. So, as I said, we're going to loop in, get as close as we can to field 24 so that we can get this set up on a worker. I do have the stone picker set at the other end. And that's like, you know, we get him going, and then we'll get the lime going, and then the fertilizer going, and then we'll run one strip to combine the fields, run the lime up one side, run the fertilizer or the manure up one side, and then be pretty much good to go. So that's the thought process, at least, because the other part of this field is totally ready to go and in good shape, so we don't need to redo it. And if we hire a worker once the fields are all combined, they will just assume that they need to work the entire field and then we'll be here for hours and hours waiting for them to drive over the field. We already fertilized, we already plowed, we already limed, and have it all good to go. So we're cooking with gas now. We're moving fast. Once we get this pass done, down around the bottom and come back up, we'll get the stone picker going. We'll take the Deutz back and grab the lime spreader. I think somewhere right about in there is going to be about where we want to end that. Let's see about getting lined up on this edge over here. We do want to leave some room for the road, but I do feel like maximizing our field width is going to be critical, so that worked out quite well. Wondering if we can actually just pull straight down and have it recognize right there. I think it's going to make a nice square corner at the bottom. We got to get that one little strip right here, right on the edge. This is where something like Black Sheep Modding's 6MT plow would be great to have a little detail work. These big plows, they're just so hard to get exactly on the edges where you need them, but not worth having an extra implement. We'll just get it done and be careful. Alright, so that's done. We'll turn off create field, so it doesn't matter if we go over a little bit. We'll get this corner that we rounded out last time. Got just a little bit to pick up here. That corner looks great. Turn on create fields again. Not too worried about getting this all in one pass. We're gonna have to come down the field anyways, so as long as we don't leave a row of shame or a strip of shame on the left-hand side, we'll get all the rest of it on the way back. We've already made a huge change to the size of this field, and once we get it connected, this is going to be a really nice big field for us. We'll get that top corner cleaned up a little bit later. I'll come back in and do the landscaping between episodes and put trees and grass and everything back in. But for right now, we've got the Deutz pulling our cultivator, just using it to knock out this area between the fields. A couple little puffs of grass. It didn't make it on the landscaping side, but that's not a problem. Alright, so we'll come down here. We'll get this guy wrapped up, and we'll send the stone picker on his way. Grab the... turn off create fields just so there's no mistakes. We'll grab the lime spreader and get those started, and we'll be in touch as things get going. So we're gonna leave that there. Gonna just drop this guy right here for now. Want to get the stone picker running first. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking one headland, round corners, or square corners. Yep, that should be good. Yep, recognizes the new field, exactly like we wanted him to. That worked out quite well. While he's doing that, we'll send the Deutz back to the shed to grab the lime spreader and have that all staged up. We do have all the straw out of the mixing silo, so we can get that gone, and I'm thinking we're going to put the lime production back in where that mixing silo is and keep the stones at the front, because I don't seem to be having the same problems on the front part of the farm that we're having on the back with all those triggers and everything else. So we'll have to see how that turns out, but at least get it back on, because we're going to have a batch of stones when we get done with the stone picking up here. So I'm going to get the Deutz staged and ready to go. I'll check back in with you guys when we have the stone picking complete, and then we'll send the lime out, and then we'll send the manure out, then we'll touch up that strip in between, and we will have a field ready to plant. I'm thinking at this point, you know, maybe we do the prep work today, and maybe we do the planting the second half of July in another episode. This one's going to get pretty long, so we'll probably just wrap up the field prep work and then do the planting still in July, but in the next episode. So we'll see how that works out, but try to keep the episodes, you know, between 50 minutes and an hour, maybe a little bit more, but don't want to be hitting that hour-and-a-half mark. So we'll check back in with you guys when the stone picking's done, the liming begins. That's going to be our last pass with the stone picker. Just got to get this little triangle up here. I did, in an effort to keep things moving, get the lime started with the Deutz. So he is already up and running. Let's get this folded up, and because of that, the lime has a wider working width than our manure spreader. I'm going to go put the stone picker down, and this guy's going to jump right in with the manure spreader, and we're going to be working this field at the same time as we lime it, just trying to keep things moving as fast as we can. Got to turn and burn here in July because we have to get these soybeans in, and don't want to be planting in the dark. So let's grab the manure spreader, and I'm actually going to go put the stone picker over here. We're going to need all these implements one more time for this last little strip. We're going to run one strip up between the fields, get them connected and squared up. Oh, it's sliding there. Did not make the turn. Crash counter +1, I guess. There we go. Run into our own equipment. That's not good to be in that much of a rush, I guess. But yeah, we'll run one strip up between these fields, and we'll have to just stone pick it, lime it, manure one last time so the whole field is ready, and we will be off. So this guy connects up here. I did get rid of the mixing silo and put in the lime silo. I will go ahead and show you guys that before jumping back out. But here comes the lime tractor right down this way. He's set to do 2 headlands, so there should be plenty of time and space for the manure spreader. I actually think that's probably not close enough to the edge of the field. Let's get squared up a little bit better here. How about somewhere right in here? Alright, we're going to have this guy do 2 headlands. No rounded corners. Go ahead and calculate that course. He is off. Great, we are all set. So, manure spreader running over the top of the lime coming down behind him, and we're going to get this field done lickety-split here. Just want to show you guys real quick that we did get rid of that mixing silo, put the lime production back in here, did a little landscaping to tuck it in, hoping we're going to have better luck without all the triggers down there at the back. But we did move our straw, our lime, and our grass into our new multi-fruit silo over here. So we have 1.3 million liters of grass, 182,000 liters of lime, and 1.9 million liters of straw, and an additional about 6.5 million in capacity here. So that's working out really well. Got to clean up the farm a little bit. Don't have things all over the place and multiple silos and everything else. So in good shape there. I'll keep up with you guys. Maybe we'll, if these guys don't run into each other, maybe we'll put the manure spreading on a time lapse with the lime running in the background. See if I can catch this guy. Never skip cardio, guys. It'll help you chase down a tractor. So we are good to go here. I'm going to throw this on a time lapse and catch you guys when we're done. Not too bad. Got that done. So majority of the field has been limed and fertilized with manure. We need to run the plow up the middle, combining the two fields, run a pass of each lime and manure up, and then we will be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and jump back in and put the HUD on. Great. Had a little bit of overlap here with the manure and the lime, where the manure didn't take over top of the lime, but it's all done and in order. So we're going to dump the manure cart right here, since there's no point in disconnecting the doits and then just reconnecting it right back up to the lime. I do wonder if we'll have to do stone picking on this, but let's see. Let's go ahead and open that up. We do need to just verify that we got allow create fields. Let's go ahead and straighten that out a little bit. Let's see, I'm thinking something like that should just about do it. Come up just a little bit. Create fields, drop that down. All right, and here is our one pass between the fields to get them connected. And that grass will disappear when we plant it. But we'll have one pass here. We'll run the stone picker up the lime spreader, there we go. And then the manure spreader. And we'll call it a day on this field and the end of this episode. I was hoping to get the planting done this episode, but I just don't see a way to get it done and keep all the content in from what we did. So we will bring that back in at the next episode. We'll go ahead and do that. So let's see. That looks pretty good. I may want to fade this field in just a little bit. Seems like we need to taper it down so we don't have that big step right there. Yeah, just a little bit of work on the back end, but should be worth it in the end. So let's see if we can just hook. Not quite there. Let's see. Back it up just a touch. Move it over. Yeah, that'll about do it. Bring it down here. We want to just hook this and smooth that edge out. There we go. That's way better than that step in we had before. So let's turn off create fields. Fold up the plow. And we'll just run down. We did get a couple of stones in here. So we do have to do all 3 additional implements on this section. We'll start with the stone picker, then lime, then manure, and it will be one giant field successfully prepped for our soybean planting. So I'm going to put the plow cultivator over here. Just leave that off the field. Jump onto the stone picker. And we are set there. Lower, turn on. I am intrigued to pull up the map at the end here and see what our fertilization looks like. I'm wondering if the stone picking is removing the fertilization state as well. We'll just have to see. Shouldn't. We can always do 2 passes. That won't be too hard. But we'll jump in after this and just see what it looks like in regards to the lime and fertilization needs for this little strip we left. Okay, so that corner's good. Doesn't really look like we picked up any stones here, so let's go ahead and fold that up. Let's drive him back. while he's doing that, let's jump into the map real quick. Let's take a look at the PDA and just see what it says as far as fertilization and lime needs. Yeah, so it is just that one little strip. So even though it's showing it removed the other stages, it's fine. That's about what we expected. Okay, we'll disconnect this one. Leave him running because he's going to be heading out here in just a second. Get on the lime spreader. We'll run a quick pass down that middle strip, getting it all done. Yeah, the lime's got plenty of reach. It can do the whole area and then some. So overall, very successful episode again. We got our 3 big contracts done, April, May, and June. That boosts us up to $1.5 million. We made some changes around the farmyard, installed the new placeable trigger silo on the back side of our corn drying setup. And I think that's going to be the way to go on that setup, just in regards to having all of our seed, our lime, our straw, our grass in one place. Before that, we had the underground silo, we had the mixing silo, and then we had taken out and not replaced the lime production. So we put the lime production where the mixing silo was. So we're down to having all of our silos in one location in the middle front of the farm where we can access everything. And we have our lime production back up there as well. Then we harvested the canola out of field 22. I almost forgot we harvested the grass, or we cut the grass in field 23. It's 23, yeah, 23, to keep our numbers going up, our grass count going up for our animals. We've got just sheep reproducing all the time, and cows that are going to be due the middle of next year. They'll probably make it through winter, but we'll need grass to do that. But they'll make it through winter before they reproduce, but not much beyond that. So we got the grass cut, then we cut the canola out of field 22, which is the field over here. We then plowed it up, cultivated and mulched. We left this little strip here in the middle so we could run workers on the stone picking, the liming, and the fertilizing with the manure. And we're just coming back in, and we just did that final little strip to combine this field all into one. And we're just taking one pass down with each of our implements to make the field totally prepped and ready to go. This should just about do it and wrap it up. Let's turn that off, close it down, and let's take a look at the PDA. So we are now, yep, doesn't need liming. It is all set. It is double application fertilized. Maybe missed a rock or two here or there, but field 22 and field 24 are now combined. We have one big field for our soybeans. We did bring it down on that bottom edge towards the farm, and we got rid of the road up at the top. I'll do a little landscaping between episodes, but you know, guys, that was a lot of work for one episode. We still have to come back in July and get the soybeans planted in this field, and we'll get on that at the start of next episode. So thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.